Wow, this narrative is becoming more interesting. On the 80th plague that was unleashed on the land of Egypt, just hear how it is presented. In Exodus chapter number 10, from verse number 1 says, Then the Lord said to Moses, Go to Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart and the heart of his servants, that I may perform these signs of mine among them, and that you may tell in the hearing of your son and of your grandson how I made a mockery of the Egyptians and how I performed my signs among them, that you may know that I am the Lord. Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said to them, This thus says the Lord God of the Hebrew, How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go, that they may serve me. For if you refuse to let my people go, behold, tomorrow I will bring locusts into your territory. They shall cover the surface of the land, so that no one will be able to see the land. They will also eat the rest of what has escaped, what is left to you from the hail, that they will eat every tree which sprouts for you and for the field. Then your houses shall be filled, and the houses of your servants and the houses of all the Egyptians, something which neither your fathers nor your grandfathers have seen, from the day that they came upon the earth until this day. And he turned and went out from Pharaoh. That is the narrative. There are key points here. Number one, this thing God is doing in the land of Egypt for the sake of his people Israel is meant to be retold. And that is why I am telling it today. Because God said you will tell it to your sons and your grandsons and generations to come what I have done to Pharaoh. Stating it very clear that it is very, very dangerous to stiff naked yourself, to make your neck stiff when God is giving you an instruction. It is very disastrous to say no to the voice of the God of heaven. Pharaoh was enjoying the services of the children of Israel, but the God of the children of Israel said, It is over. And this man said, It is not over. Who has said a thing and it come to pass, if that thing was not from the Lord? When we talk about this God, it seems we are making a joke of non-existing abstract thing. He who created mankind and created the invisible and the visible things. What a human being has succeeded doing all these years of the existence on earth is that they are discovering hidden things God created. Even internet we are enjoying today, satellite in the orbit, all of them were just a discovery of what God has created. They were made from what God has created. And that God is in existence. When we are talking about God, people are making mockery of the God who made mankind. And we are existing because he created us. Here he said, I am bringing locusts. Locust is a great snap on the cheek of the Egyptians, looking at their economy. When hail came, it destroyed their source of income, which is the cattle. This time around is coming upon trees. That is to say, when hail destroyed the cattle, some of the trees were spared. But now, the warriors of the Lord in the person of locusts are coming to devour all the green plants in the land. My father told me that the last time locusts appeared in our own locality was in the year 1947. That the locust appeared and covered the sun, that it became dark in the day. The sun could not penetrate through the thickness of the locusts on the sky. So everywhere become dark. I'm not talking of eclipse of the sun or eclipse of the moon. I am talking of the appearance of locusts, as my father told me, in 1947 in our locality. Everywhere become dark. And guess what happened? According to him, for about 4 hours the locust was in the land. Immediately they departed. All the trees, green trees, the palm trees and all other trees, all of them become empty, that they can see from afar. They can see a distance very far, which they couldn't see because those trees covered them. Those locusts just ate it up within 4 hours. And they can see up to 10 miles, 15 miles away. But before the appearance of those locusts, they can't even see 2 miles from where they are, because everywhere was forest. But that forest was dealt with within 4 hours by the swarm of locusts. So when you are seeing this being narrated here, it is a terrible judgment on the land, just because God's people are being oppressed in the land. What is particular God is being challenged here? Permit me to let you know that in ancient Egyptian mythology, there isn't one specific god solely dedicated to locusts. However, several deities were associated with a concept of pests and were believed to have influence over them, including Osiris, Senehem, Set, and Khepri. Let's look at these 4 gods mentioned here. In the case of Osiris, while primarily known as the god of the underworld and vegetation, some historical sources mention Osiris was also associated with the growth of crops and agriculture. In the context of locust plague, Osiris' connection to vegetation made his perceived inability to prevent the destruction by locusts a sign of his powerlessness against a higher force. Now, Senehem. This minor god is explicitly mentioned as having a locust head and was believed to protect against pests. However, the locust plague in the biblical account of the plagues demonstrates that Senehem's protective powers were ineffective against the divine intervention. Then Set, god of storms, chaos, and desert, is linked to the plague of locusts. He is sometimes depicted as having a connection of destructive forces like locusts. Some interpretation of the plague suggests that the locusts were sent by Set, but ultimately his power was shown to be subordinate to the God of Israel. Then the last god, Khepri, the scarab-beetled headed god, is associated with creation, rebirth, and the movement of the sun. In the context of the plague, some interpretations suggest that the plague of flies, not locusts, but related to insects, showed Khepri's inability to control the disorder and destruction. So when God of heaven comes down, those ones that are claiming to be gods bows off. I want to say this as I end this video. There are people who have made themselves gods because they have government power. You are a president of a nation and you have made yourself God. At the age of 95, you are still insisting that you will remain on the throne. When God will strike you, it will be very disastrous. If you still value your life, give way from that throne. Let young blood come up and put the country in order. Tell me the intelligence or the knowledge with which you can govern a nation at the age of 95. Can't you go and sit down and have a good sleep in your house? Must you occupy that position and be rendering the nation incapacitated? See the state of your nation. Africa must rise, and it is now. Anyone that says no to it will face God's wrath. I remain Pastor Elisha, the rising voice in Africa and the reformer with a difference.